You ever get that feeling, you know, like we're living in the future, but our brains feel like they're stuck in the past? We are in this incredibly strange moment where our world looks hyper-advanced, but so many of us feel, well, deeply and fundamentally unstable.
I mean, think about it. We have more information right at our fingertips than any other generation in human history.
We are connected to more people across the entire globe than ever before. And the sheer technological power we have, it's something no civilization has ever even come close to. So, here's the big question. With all of this amazing progress, why do so many of us feel completely overwhelmed, kind of numb, polarized, and just exhausted?
Well, the answer is actually simpler than you might think. And honestly, it's a huge relief. That feeling, it is not a personal failure. It's a systems mismatch. Okay, so let's really dive into what that systems mismatch actually means, because this is the absolute key to understanding our glitching world.
Now this chart right here is fascinating because it totally reframes the problem. It's not just one thing, it's 5 different pressure points all grinding against each other. We have these modern, powerful tools clashing with our ancient nervous systems. We've got our major institutions running on what's basically legacy code, driven by totally misaligned incentives. And on top of it all, our moral compass was built for a small village, and now we're trying to use it to navigate global-scale problems. You put all that together? Yeah, it's no wonder modern life can feel completely impossible.
So let's break that down, starting with the first and maybe the most personal mismatch. Modern power, ancient minds. You can really think of this as a conflict happening inside our own biological hardware.
Just think for a second about what your brain, your nervous system, was actually built for over hundreds of thousands of years. It evolved for small groups, for physical environments, for limited bits of information, and pretty limited stimulation. Now look at what we throw at it every single day. Constant social evaluation on social media, constant ambiguity, a fire hose of news and comparison, and non-stop alerts and crisis. Our wiring just wasn't designed for this level of input. It's not even close.
And the result of that mismatch is exactly what you see here: system overload. This is where that feeling of exhaustion comes from, that constant reactivity, that addiction to distraction just so we can get a moment of peace. That feeling of being totally emotionally fried. These aren't character flaws, you know. They are the predictable, logical symptoms of a system that is completely overloaded.
So, and this is so important to get, the crucial point is this: we are not failing, we are overloaded. Our nervous systems just do not have the bandwidth for the world we've built.
And that feeling of overload, it's made so much worse by the outdated software our society is trying to run on. And that brings us right to our second big mismatch: legacy code and flawed incentives.
Legacy code is just the perfect metaphor, isn't it? Think about our biggest institutions: education, healthcare, politics. They're like old software, written for a slow, ancient operating system that we just keep patching instead of rewriting. They were built for a totally different world, a world of industrial labor and information that moved at a snail's pace. And we all know exactly what the user experience of this legacy code feels like, right? It's endless paperwork and zero clarity. It's high friction just to get the simplest thing done, and so often it feels like there's very little genuine care. It's like you exist to serve the institution, not the other way around.
Now this is where it gets really powerful. Our systems, they don't run on morality. They run on incentives. And when those incentives are out of whack, you get these predictable, destructive outcomes. It's just cause and effect. If the system rewards capturing attention, guess what? Polarization becomes profitable. If it rewards short-term profit, burnout becomes normal. This stuff happens automatically, no matter how many good people you have inside that system.
Okay, on to our final mismatch. This one might be the most subtle, but it could also be the most important. It's this idea of having village brains on a global scale. It's a fundamental mismatch in our moral programming.
See, our moral instincts, our gut feelings about right and wrong, they evolved in small, tight-knit groups. In a village, you saw the consequences of your actions. Your reputation was everything. Power was close, and villains had faces. But our problems today, they aren't village scale. Harm is distributed across the entire planet. Responsibility is diluted through massive systems, and the real causes are often totally invisible.
And because of that disconnect, our moral instincts just keep firing at the wrong targets. We are hardwired to look for simple stories, for individual villains, for someone with a face that we can blame for all the problems.
But what if the problem isn't one evil person?
What if the real issue is a system that just produces these negative outcomes automatically, no matter who's in charge?
So, where does all this leave us? Well, let's talk about what we can build next. The solution here, it doesn't start with working harder or optimizing more. It starts with upgrading our perspective.
The new task ahead of us is really a change in consciousness. Step 1, just become aware of these mismatches. Step 2, learn to see the hidden systems that are at play all around us. Step 3, find the language to name what is really going on. Because when you can name it, you can start to reduce that collective shame we all feel, and you can finally update the map we're all using to navigate this crazy world.
And this is just so critical. Because at the end of the day, a species cannot solve problems it cannot describe. Giving ourselves the right framework, the right words, it isn't just an academic exercise. It is the first, most essential step towards any real change.
And ultimately, we have to shift our entire focus. Life is not about optimization. It's not about life hacks. It is about perspective. Because that perspective, that's how we choose what we build next. That is the real work ahead of us, to consciously and very carefully design the incentives, the institutions, and the stories that can actually help us thrive in the modern world we've created.